All right. Hello and welcome. I'm really excited to have our guest speaker on the call tonight. Ed Cormier is the New England Region Regional Program Analyst. He is the STEM Outreach Coordinator for the FAA. He's got 20 years of government service, dedicated to the betterment of youth education. Sounds like the rest of us. He is here tonight to talk to us about trust drone training, how it's going to help your team fly safer and engage in the community in a positive manner. Ed lives in southern Maine. He covers all 6 New England states. And he's also connected with 8 other regional coordinators that span the country, including all 50 states and outlying territories, which is really cool. He's going to help connect us with the FAA region specialist in your area that can help answer questions, help you with resources, and just kind of tell you what has going on. So I do want to put a little fun disclaimer in here. Ed and I are not related, even though we do share the same last name. We are related in blood, I think, though, because we have the same goals in life, right? We enjoy working with youth. We enjoy robotics, aviation, and drones. So we're connected that way, but we are actually not related at all. But I've had the pleasure of working with Ed several times. I think the first time we met was at a sea perch competition that you were running. So I was out there volunteering with that. We've done several workshops together, and he is definitely excited about the aerial drone competition and what we are doing here at the REC Foundation. So Ed, I'm going to let you go ahead and take it away.
Perfect. And certainly you'll have my contact information in here. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And actually this Saturday, I'll be down in York, Maine at the VEX robotics competition as a judge. So all kinds of good stuff. So let me go ahead and throw up that presentation. There we go. So as Luann mentioned, I do work for the Federal Aviation Administration. So our job is keeping the airways safe. So we're in charge of the national airspace. So everything from Boston all the way to San Diego, that's about 4 inches above your head, we're in charge of to keep it safe. And that's our goal of what we're trying to do here. So my contact information is here. If you just go to faa.gov/education, all of my counterparts, all of our contact information is out there on the public facing website. And I've got one of the best jobs here at the FAA. I get to work with students and teachers and educators and homeschool students and all kinds of folks all across New England. So all kinds of good stuff on our website. So as we said, there are 9 regions to the FAA. So all across the country, there is one of me that's out there. And our full-time 40-hour-a-week job is to work with scout leaders and educators. We focus in the K-12 realm. And again, if you go to that website, faa.gov/education, there's a big red contact us button and all of our email addresses are right there. So if you're looking for folks to come help out with your teams, mentor your teams, help out with competitions, you've just got general, career pathways questions, that kind of stuff. We're kind of here as your liaisons to make that happen. So don't hesitate to reach out. This is your tax dollars at work. This is what we're here to do. And we're very passionate about what we do. So we're all here for a reason, right? We want to get these kids into careers. So looking forward, we know that we currently have a pilot shortage. And over the next 10 years, we know we're going to need another 200,000 pilots on top of the ones that we're losing through attrition. So we're fighting to beat attrition. The other big piece is maintenance technicians. And going from a high school automotive program to an aviation maintenance program is not a real big leap. And we know that is such a great paying job in those areas all across the country. There are workforce development grants for pilot training and aviation maintenance training. There's some webinars coming up. You can go to our website and see those coming up. And we're in our we just did our 3rd round of grants last year. And you can see who won those grants. So Nashua Community College, Cape Cod Community College, and Mount Washington Valley High School here in New England are grant recipients for those grants. It's really great. And we know that we're going to need, untold thousands of drone folks. And as we get into having all of these companies deliver via drones, it's not just the drone pilots. We're going to need drone maintenance. So we're seeing colleges add in drone maintenance into their aviation maintenance programs as well. So as your teams are learning how to swap out a motor, as they're learning how to solder connections, as they're learning how to maintain batteries and check voltages, These are all those skills that lead into high-paying careers. And certainly here in New Hampshire, in the 93 corridor from Concord down through Merrimack and Manchester and Nashua, we've got a huge population of tech ops folks. So those are the folks that are maintaining all the bits and pieces on the airport. So from drones to airports to pilots, we certainly need all these different career pathways here at the FAA. So our office, the STEM Outreach Office, the STEM AvSed, Aviation and Space Education, we have 4 goal areas that we're trying to work towards. So goal 1 is pipelines and pathways. How do we help parents and guardians, teachers and guidance counselors get students onto those pathways to aerospace? And, you know, traditional high school stuff, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, automotive, how do we translate those into aviation career pathways? How do we help that 6th grader make those right choices? How do we help that 8th grader that is picking their freshman year classes by Christmas, that they're taking those right math classes so that by the time they graduate high school, they can get into University of New Hampshire, they can get into University of Maine, they can get into Embry-Riddle University, wherever they want to go. We don't make sure that they're on that right pathway from early education on. And we cover that full gamut from kindergarten up through 12th grade. Goal 2 is STEM for every student. How do we reach those students that are further out? So we looked at a lot of the STEM outreach we had done in the past 20 years, all good stuff, but it was within a stone's throw of the fence line of the airport. So how do we get to those students that are further out from the big airports into those rural areas that can still get into those aviation careers? How do we reach those students through webinars, through our airport design challenge inside Minecraft, through Zoom resume reviews or different kind of things? So we want you guys to know that we're here to help you out. And if, you know, my job is to help find you guest speakers. If you're looking for an air traffic controller, you're looking for an aviation maintenance, a safety inspector, you're looking for a business major, all the folks that handle our grants, all those different career pathways we have inside the FAA, how do we get those out to those students? And goal 3 and 4 kind of go hand in hand. It's all about partnerships. So tonight we're working with those partnerships that we have on the outside. And, you know, we've got official partnerships with Academy of Model Aeronautics. They sent out 2,500 drone kits to students in schools all across the country last year to summer camps and different pieces. So working with the Academy of Model Aeronautics, working with Civil Air Patrol, we've got a partnership with them. We just signed a partnership with the Smithsonian Institute. So there's Smithsonian affiliates all across the country. How are we maximizing those partnerships that we have? And then cross-agency, how do we work between our different lines of business? How do we work with our air traffic folks, our UAS drone office? How do we work inside the agency better across, and then across the .govs from DOD, DOE, and all the different, you know, NASA, NOAA offices inside the government. So we're not reinventing the wheel. We're not trying to be what NASA is. NASA has a phenomenal program, and we have a partnership with them, and we use their whirlicopters, we use their graphics. We talk about a lot of things that NASA does because we're partners with them. We're not trying to compete with them. So our program is aiming to inspire that next generation. I've been in almost 25 years now at this point with the federal government. You know, I'm on the far side of it. How do I make sure that those students coming in have the right things that they need? And we do this by sharing our passion of aviation with students through everything from STEM literacy, reading books in early education, coming in for summer camps in middle school, and career pathway stuff at the high school level. So with drones, we talk a lot about drones. On the FAA side, we refer to them as UAV, UAS, unmanned aerial vehicles and unmanned aircraft systems. So there's the 3 parts to it. It's the drone itself, the remote control, and the pilot. We really want to instill in the students that they are a pilot. When you pick up that controller and you're outside, you're flying in that airspace, how do you do that safely? When do you do that safely? Where do you do it safely? There's lots that goes into flying drones outdoors. And when they get the bug, working in competitions, doing these indoor competitions, they want to start migrating outside. And so we want to make sure that we're doing all that safely. So we want you to know that we are here from the beginning to the end. From novice to pro, the FAA is here. And we want to, you know, sometimes we get seen as the regulator, right? We come in, we're the folks that are trying to slow things down, or when there's an incident, or there's an incursion, or there's something bad that happens. We want you to know the FAA is a resource as well. We have drone pros. We have professionals that are here to answer questions. We have those big red contact us buttons. On the homepage for the FAA.gov, there's a chat bot that will help get you to where you want to go. So we want to drive your students and drive your educators to the FAA website to see what we have to offer, and that we're there before there's a problem. Ask us those questions before there's a problem, and we're here to get you pointed in the right direction. A couple of weeks ago, I was at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, for the Massachusetts State Teacher Fair, and I met hundreds of teachers from all across Massachusetts, and it was really great to intro them to what we're doing. We brought our drone cage. They got to fly drones that day and talk about what we do, but we're here from beginning to end. So, graphic on our website, drones are here for good. So drones are not going anywhere. Some people want to put Pandora back in the box. The box has been opened. Drones aren't going anywhere. So they're here for good, but they're also here for good uses. So they're not just a noise in your backyard. It's not just something that's flying over your house. Drones are here to deliver medicines. Drones are here to deliver packages and goods. Drones are here to do search and rescue. There's so many things that drones are here for, and we want to help your students promote good drone use in their neighborhoods, promote good drone use in their communities. So this is 2015. This was the drone manufacturer market, the schools, the organizations, all the things that we could find that were doing something with drones back in 2015. 4 years later in 2019, it more than doubled. So drone is just taking off by leaps and bounds. We tried to recreate this graphic for 2024, and everything was so small, it was just pixels. You couldn't see anything. So that tells you that colleges are building out drone career pathways, employers are building out drone career pathways, municipalities are building out drone career pathways, and this is your organization, your competitions, the skills these students are doing translate into real careers. At 16 years old, they can get their Part 107 drone license, just like they get their car driver's license. So they can be assisting with real estate and assisting with insurance and assisting with law enforcement. There's so many things that they can use their drones for good. So inspections, Amtrak, train track inspections, CMP power line inspections, windmill inspections here in Northern Maine. All of these folks are sending their adult students to the University of Maine to get trained how to use their drones. At the University of Maine, they've got drone certificate programs, associates, bachelors, and masters in drone technology. So all of these different career pathways for drones, anything that is dull or dangerous for the human, we can replace with the drone. So as the students are zipping through the course or doing those different maneuvers, we're trying to connect them to those real world career pathways on the other side. Photography, I know the drones we're using don't have cameras, but this is such a big thing for, real estate photography, wedding photography. Every business in town, everything on your Chamber of Commerce wants to build out their own commercial. We see the Super Bowl commercials using drones for photography. So these are a great way, but here's where students, okay, I'm going to go take some photos. How am I doing it safely? What are those things, the guardrails we can put in place to make sure this is done safely? Agriculture, University of New Hampshire has got a great agriculture program. We're seeing drones in powered lift. We're seeing drones for spraying pesticides and herbicides coming, drone mapping, getting all that GIS data mapped into that drone, bring back in to make your farmer's life easier, looking for broken fences, invasive species, where we need more hydration. It's really a great use of drones. And you'll see here, it's fixed wing, it's quadcopter, it's octocopters, there's all different types of drones that are out there. Public safety, out in the brush fires in Massachusetts to brush fires in California, firefighters and law enforcement are using drones to get that bird's eye view to find those hot spots, find those homes that are in danger, help find missing persons. So drones can really be used quite well. If anybody recalls this little fella right here, this is Ingenuity. This was in the belly of Perseverance, and it is currently sitting on the surface of Mars. So we're flying drones on whole other planets. As we get back in with NASA for Project Artemis 2035 on the moon, heading back out to Mars, we're going to see more and more use of drones out on other planets. And that's where these students are going to be. With the time they graduate high school, here's the technology, here are the career pathways. It's just so exciting to see the drones that we're flying there on Mars. So safety. Big thing that we talk about is safety with our students, whether I'm doing summer camps at Nashville Community College or I'm doing a homeschool group up in Northern Maine, or wherever I go, we're always talking about safety. And hopefully your teams are also talking about safety in their program and what they do. I know in FIRST Robotics and VEX Robotics, we take safety very seriously. So on our website, we've got flyers that you can download, and the quick do's and don'ts. So certainly, you guys are all flying indoors for your competitions with these small little drones, but very easily they can get a drone for Christmas present, holiday present, birthday presents, and they can quickly get themselves in trouble. So keep your drone at below 400 feet. General aviation flies above 500 feet. And so under 400 feet, which is pretty high. I mean, a football field is 300 feet. So a football field plus another third straight up in the air. Most drones you're going to buy are going to be a little speck in the sky at that point. So 400 feet is not there to kind of keep you guys grounded, but to just keep everybody safe with what you're doing. You always have to have line of sight of your drone. So being able to see it, so you can't fly past the tree line. You can't fly around a building. If you're using first-person view goggles, you have to have a secondary spotter because there's so many break points in between there. You're not going to get those goggles off fast enough before that drone is gone or lost. So we tell the students you wouldn't pick up a snowball and just throw it over your house into your backyard. You don't know who's over there. Same thing with that drone. You need to see where it is at all times. Beware of FAA airspace restrictions. We're going to talk about know before you fly, how that's evolved over time, and where they can go get that free data every time they go to take off of where can I go, how can I get there, what are the weather conditions, what's going on around me on the know before you fly applications. Keep away from other aircraft and airports. I mean, very quickly, students, take those small drones and it's just like taking a remote control car and driving it down the interstate. They're bigger vehicles that can get into a lot of trouble with your little thing in the way. So certainly we don't want to fly near airports or near other aircraft. We don't want to fly over groups of people or public events. Boston Marathon, NFL games, Major League Baseball games, all those different places where there's crowds of people, because if that drone falls out of the sky, and I know we've seen battery issues, transmission loss issues, all the things that make that drone fall victim to gravity, you need to know where that drone is going to fall at all times. And most drones don't glide away. So when it's going to fall, it's going to fall. So you can't fly over groups of people. And then don't fly near emergencies because law enforcement will have their drones. In the future, down the road, we're getting to advanced air mobility. We're getting into the interconnectedness of things and out in the sky and how they're all going to work together, but we're not quite there yet. So if law enforcement has their drone up searching for someone, and God forbid your drone gets up there and gets tangled up with that one, now we're delaying that response for law enforcement. So we don't want you flying around emergencies. So we provide a free online training. So it is the recreational user safety training. It's hosted on many websites, REC being one of them. And one of the, I like that one very well. And there it is. Thank you, Miss Luann. So that goes into everything that we've talked about today. All those do's and don'ts are all laid out. And it's not a test to try and stump you. You can't get the answers wrong. You can't go to the next question until you get that question right. So it will go through and talk about all the different pieces that you have, and then you'll have some questions, and then it'll have some more educational bits, and then it'll have some questions. So again, it's not there to keep you out. It's there to make sure that you have all the knowledge. And so when I do a summer camp, I'll do a boot camp. I want everybody to take that drone trust training, and I can get it done in a half hour, 45 minutes. I kind of go through it as a group, and then I cut them back loose on their own devices to go take that training. And then you can print out the certificate at the end. That certificate is not maintained anywhere. So once it comes up on the screen, you want to grab it and get it printed for their records. If they lose that, they can go take it again. There's no limit on how many times you can take the drone trust training. And again, it's hosted on multiple websites, and it gets you all the updated do's and don'ts for drones. And we can't emphasize that enough. So Know Before You Fly started out as a small app inside the FAA, and now there are 4 partner organizations that are showcasing that on their website. So if you go to our website, it'll direct you to those 4. UAS Sidekick is the one that I kind of go to. They're all great, but there are live maps, and they show you the notice to airmen. They show you the no-fly zones. Thank you, Luann. All those pieces. So every time you take your drone up in the air, you have to go look, because we just went through election season. VIPs are landing here and there, and they'll shut down airspace for different pathways, whether there's events, all that data is right there, and you can see all the airports, you can see all the helipads. It also lists out all the FRIAs and the CBOs, the community-based organizations, the Academy of Model Aeronautic Clubs, all listed out on those maps, so the students can kind of see what's happening with their airspace and where they're flying at. So we have a UAS collegiate training initiative. So we have schools all across the country that are part of the FAA's collegiate training initiative. So they don't have to start from scratch. They don't have to start, how do I build out this program? What am I doing for this? All of these schools talk to each other and work through a knowledge sharing network with the FAA on how they're building out their drone programs at their schools. And there's no money involved. There's no grants with this, but it's knowledge sharing. So these schools don't have to start from scratch. And it's been very great over the past 4 or 5 years. You can go to our website, see all those. So if you have a team, go look and see where the UAS CTI schools near you and see if they have a program, if you guys can get a field trip, you guys can get a tour, work with those colleges, because we're trying to push those students down those pathways of, hey, here's what you're doing here, but this is where it's leading to at the UAS CTI programs. Now, this was open to 2- and 4-year accredited colleges. And over the feedback the past couple of years, we heard from you guys and said, hey, we need something at the next level down. How do we get this same knowledge sharing network for myself as a middle school teacher or a high school teacher or a robotics team coach? So we have this year kicked off the new Youth Drone Initiative. So this is a spinoff of the UAS Collegiate Training Initiative, where folks like yourselves, anybody on this call, any of those team captains can go sign up to be part of the Youth Drone Initiative. And the next meeting, I think, is going to be November 21st, a webinar quite like this one, where Venus Thompson and Diana Robinson from the FAA's office will, talk about all the different things that they have available, where to go to those websites. Thank you, Luann, you're on top of things. And this is a brand new program, just started this year, launched in May, and we're getting folks signed up. And as we get more folks signed up, that website will continue to grow and increase. And you'll have access to those same kind of things of what the CTI program is doing at the collegiate level. And then our goal is to kind of take, hey, who are the folks in this area, and help connect them with those colleges that are doing those pieces. So if you haven't signed up for the Youth Drone Initiative, please go sign up. There's no cost to it. Doesn't cost you anything but your time. And we're really trying to see where are these drone populations growing inside the United States where we can work with the youth. So again, my contact information is there, Ed Cormier. And if you go to the website, there's a big red contact us button. And if you're in any of the 9 regions, certainly reach out to those folks. If you can't get a hold of them, you're happy to reach out to me, and I'll get you connected with the right person. We also back each other up as we're on vacations and different pieces. But the FAA is here. We're from the government. We're here to help.
How often do you get to say that, Ed? You're from the government and you're here to help.
My favorite line. It's my favorite line. But again, I've got the best job here at the FAA. Today I spent all day at a school. Well, I worked with 3rd graders through 8th graders. We did pilot training. I got 4 flight simulators. So we were doing some, basic pilot career pathway, how they can get to a local flight school, what colleges do things. They all got to fly the flight simulators. Last month we did drones. Every student got to fly a drone. Next month we're doing air traffic control. So I get to work out with lots of great students that are out there. So that's the end of what I have. But again, we want every rec participant to take that drone trust training. It has all the do's and don'ts, all the good stuff. Luann and I partnered together this summer. We did a summer camp up in Portland, Maine. We had 23 students. And these were English as a second language students, and we were able to take the drone trust training in the Chrome browser, and Google Chrome will let you translate right from, and was it Portuguese they were speaking, I think?
Yes. Yeah.
And we were able to translate right from English to Portuguese in the Chrome browser. They all passed the drone trust training. They all got their certificate. So there's no barriers to why a student can't get the drone trust training done.
Excellent. Well, I thank you for your time, Ed. Does anyone have any questions that they want to ask?
I do. Thank you, Edward. That was so informative. Um, I was wondering if any of this can be done on our side of the border, and if you can share counterparts of FAA on the Canadian side that I can reach out to.
Yeah, certainly. And so with that, if they can get to that website, they can take the training. There's no geolocation. Anybody, and we encourage, everybody, that's out there. And our airport design challenge, which is separate from this, that we do through Minecraft for designing airports. We've got international students. We had all 50 states and 21 other countries. Inside the FAA, we do have our international office, and they work with the other FAA type groups that are out there. Off the top of my head, I don't have any contacts with the Canadian government, but I'm certainly happy to go pull that string, and I can get that back to Luann. Or if you got my email, you can shoot me an email. We can try and get you set up there. But every country that flies in and out all flies by the same rules, and they all kind of work together to kind of make this happen. So certainly reach out to your local government. But we do have folks that in the FAA that I think do work. I want to say there's somebody up in the Toronto area or Quebec. But certainly I'm third generation removed from Canada myself. We came down from Sherbrooke. So I'm certainly happy to help you out with that.
Awesome. Thank you. I will reach out.
I had a question. To take advantage of some of the things that you're offering, is there like a lead time that you like? I'm thinking, oh, so we're hosting a drone competition on January 11th. Is it already too late to like get someone to come and have a simulator for entertainment for the teams and some of the guests and the summer programs? Do you have to like guarantee a certain number of kids, or do you if you're coming to a high school or a middle school, is it like a half-hour minimum, or is it you have to do the whole day? And just some of the logistics so that I can plan.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a couple of questions there, Ed. Just a couple.
Yeah, no. That I get.
I mean, I can go to the website and all of that, but like,
so the more time, the better, obviously. So I am an army of one. There's one of me in the New England region, but my job is to connect you with FAA employees. And so it really depends on where the employees are, how busy they are. We all got day jobs, and what we can spare. And so I'll tell you right now, if you're looking for an air traffic controller, they are critically manned. It is pulling teeth to get them off the line. But we just had a big air traffic hiring campaign that just closed here November 5th. It was open to high school students. So that's an important thing for high school students now is the air traffic control program is now open to high school students. So they apply in the fall, go through the application process, and by the time they graduate in the spring, they're queued up for the FAA Academy. So those sophomores and juniors, all you need is 1 year work experience. Doesn't have to be in anything in particular, just 1 year of showing up to something and then be on track to graduate the next spring. You can apply in the fall to be an air traffic controller. But we go in and it's really kind of based on that. So if you say, hey, I got something in January, that's great. This is a nice time now. I have internal bulletin boards for all of my folks. And if you're in Concord or you're in Manchester or you're closer to Boston, the regional office is in Burlington, Massachusetts. The more lead time you give me to go try and find some connections, we'll try and get out there. Or if I'm available and I can get there, I'll do my best. And so today I was in Sanford, Maine. Tomorrow I'll be in Burlington, Massachusetts. Friday I'm in Biddeford, Maine for their high school career fair, their regional center of technology. So my job is 80% on the road out here than everywhere, but my goal is to get more folks involved. So the FAA spans the coast to coast all across the country. So the more time you give us, the better. And there's not really a cookie cutter. We're kind of looking at what we can do, where we can do it. And if it's 30 minutes with, some students over here and we can swing it, we're happy to do that. I was up in Storyland, New Hampshire for the day for their Transportation Safety Day. I've done stuff with 5 brownies. I've done stuff with 400 high school students, over the course of the day. So it's really kind of gauged on what we can do, what we have available. I've got a portable drone gauge. It's a 10 by 10 screen porch. I've got the same drones you guys are using for Vex Robot for the RAC competition. I've got flight simulators, a laptop that are portable. I had 4 of those out at a school today. We're building more hands-on workshops for tech ops, for lock wire, for using voltmeters, that kind of stuff, to do those hands-on pieces with our folks. We've got some air traffic control. NASA has their air traffic control simulator, NASA Smart Skies. So we go out and talk air traffic control with NASA Smart Skies to get students to line the airplanes up. So there's not here's the benchmark of what we can and can't do. We just try to do the best we can with what we have, if that answers your question. But the more lead time, the better. So if you got something going in January, let me know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It looks like we have one more question. Shilpa?
Yes. Are there any resources on the site that can be shared to mentor or coach, younger kids, or from grades 3 to 8, which you mentioned, on the drones, and how they can be used and how they are operated, etc.
Yes, ma'am. So the FAA's website, faa.gov/education. We just retooled our website. It just got a new platform. And so when you log in, you'll see there's a tab for educators, there's a tab for parents, there's a tab for students. There are K-12 resources on all different aviation careers. You'll see a section for scholarships and grants that are out there, from the 99s, the Tuskegee Airmen. There's so many grants that are out there that are not from the FAA, but we kind of link out what those partners are doing. You can kind of see, what's on there for those pieces. And then on the bigger FAA's website, faa.gov/careers, you can go through and see what's needed to be a pilot, what's needed to be an air traffic controller, what's needed to be in drones. And it really, our Office of Comms has done a really great job updating our website, making it user-friendly, to kind of be able to get out there. And I know you're in Canada, but certainly please feel free to check out faa.gov on our side, and see what's available. And I haven't gone to go look to see what's on the Canadian side of the border, what they have on their website, but there's all kinds of good stuff here, and it's open source. There's nothing on there. There's no paywall. There's nothing that's ever going to charge you. Here, you can, all these downloadable resources, all these aviation curriculum and careers and pieces that are out there.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Ed, I want to thank you so much for your time tonight. I know you are a busy man, and I appreciate you taking time to talk to me and my community here. I know. So again, if anybody has questions for Ed, you can reach out to him via email. Also, if you're not in the New England area, there is one of him in all the different areas of the site. So if you're not sure where to reach out, you can always reach out to me at drones@racf.org, and I will help make that connection. So again, Ed, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. And I want to throw a big thank you out to you guys. It doesn't happen without parents and dedicated educators that are scheduling these events, coordinating these events, putting all these things together. It doesn't just happen by happenstance. So bravo to all of you, and thank you for what you do. And I look forward to hiring all of your students when they graduate.
Question.